Welcome back, y'all. Let me welcome you to a brand new series, Flop or Unflop. In this series, we take one signing every single video and talk about it, analyze it, and determine will you flop or won't you flop. And starting with Conor Gallagher to Spurs. Now, there are two places Spurs might get from this signing. The Spurs Conor Gallagher or the Chelsea Conor Gallagher. There's a very big difference between the two of them as players. At Crystal Palace, he plays number 10 in that team, kind of like a boss crasher even. A guy who most working off the ball, who kind of main responsibility offensively was to see the best timing, see the best position for him to go into the box, make a run into the box, and score a goal from that. The best example you have from a boss crasher nowadays is Bellingham at Real Madrid. It's an amazing player when it comes to figure out the best timing, the best run to go into the box and score goals, and that type of role was great for Conor Gallagher. It's a player that was very good in terms of figuring out the best timing, the best run, and it's great at making that decision making in a very little time in that final third. And that's something that Conor Gallagher has a very big strength of, and teams have to go look at getting the best out of Conor Gallagher in that sense. Also, being number 10 defensively was something that was great for him because his work off the ball, his work ethic, his pressing is amazing. It's elite. You're not going to find a lot of players who are going to be able to press as high, press as hard, work as hard off the ball as Conor Gallagher does. And when you have a player like that, and you want to be a pressing team, you have to put him as out of the pitch as possible because you want him to press that defensive line that the other team has, the goalkeeper the other team has, and try to force the other team to go long or to lose the ball in the final third. And Conor Gallagher playing number 10 will not only help your team, also get the best for Conor Gallagher's pressing and work ethic on the ball, off the ball. Crystal Palace, we figured out the best way to make Conor Gallagher the best player in basketball. I mean, offensively, he was amazing in terms of scoring goals and everything, and off the ball, also amazing at that. I mean, comparing the stats from that season to after Chelsea seasons, you can see a bit of a difference he had. That's because Chelsea made him play more double pivots when it came to Chelsea. More like a number 6, number 8, a guy who's mostly work came defensively, and kind of sit deep and the kind of defensive work in that defensive third, middle third in that pitch. And we never really saw him kind of have that same offensive role he had as Crystal Palace. We never really saw that. We never really saw him press as high as Crystal Palace. So it's a big difference from the role at Crystal Palace and the role at Chelsea. That's why I won't say he fell at Chelsea, but it kind of was a bit underwhelming at Chelsea because I don't think the managers that went to Chelsea got the best out of Conor Gallagher because I was taking playing double pivot while I do think that his best position comes from playing high up the pitch in the number 10 role. Now, Spurs will get the player they want to get. It all depends on where they put Conor Gallagher on the pitch for Tottenham. And in my opinion, as much as I don't like that, I think Conor Gallagher will play in double pivots. Either number 6, number 8, I think Conor Gallagher will probably be playing in that position. Probably because Conor got injured for 3 months, acquired like last week or so. And Spurs were very quick to make this signing. So I do think they was brought in to be that better replacement for this half a season and to be an option for the rest of the years. And do I like that? No, because Spurs are not really that great. Because look at Conor Gallagher, his main weakness is ball playing ability. It's very bad at ball progression. You can't really trust him to make a line-breaking pass or to be a plus asset when you have the ball if you want to be a team who wants to build on the back. Because it's not that good. He's not a guy who's able to play off the back, who's able to make those line-breaking passes, able to connect the defense from the attack. And Spurs' main weakness is also Gallagher's main weakness. And that is the ball progression ability. Spurs are one of the worst teams in the Premier League when it comes to ball progression. There's no player at midfield for Spurs who's able to progress the ball at a good enough level. Looking at the stats, you can see how bad Spurs are in the Premier League when it comes to ball playing ability, ball progression ability. They are actually dreadful in that. Because look at the players they have on the pitch. You look at Palhinha, Metalcur, Gray, Bergval, Sarr. None of them are good on-ball assets. None of them really knows how to make a line-breaking pass. None of them brings you the ball possession ability you need to have in a team like Spurs. And Conor Gallagher, when it comes to Spurs, again, he's not gonna do that. That's one more midfield who's very physical, who gonna be a good defender, but on the ball is an active asset. And Spurs is stockpiling on these players when in reality they should be finding players who are gonna be able to play alongside your other worst midfielders. Because again, Palhinha is the best example you can possibly find. Palhinha is a guy who defensively is amazing. He tackles very well, he cross the ball very well, but on the ball is dreadful. And for him to play on this team, if you want that physicality, that defensive work that he brings to your team, you need to couple him up with a midfielder who's able to have the ball in his feet, who's able to get the ball from point A to point B instantly. And right now, they don't have that player. And Conor Gallagher won't be that player as well because it doesn't have the ability. He's not able to make that role happen. So, for me, if Spurs want Conor Gallagher to play the number 6, number 8 role, I don't see a world where this will be great for Spurs as a team. I don't see where Gallagher is going to be able to go into this team and be able to improve the team as a whole, because I don't think his role is that. But if Spurs bring him in to play number 10, which I do think won't be the case in my opinion, but if they want him to be playing number 10 because also Spurs is having its own problems at number 10, they might want to push Xavi Simons on the left and bring Conor Gallagher to be the number 10 in the midfield. That's a world where Conor Gallagher can improve this team. Obviously, his pressing and hard work ethic and hard work way to be amazing for Spurs, because Thomas Frank is a manager who wants that team to press, and then Conor Gallagher will be an amazing presser in that final third is excellent for them. At the same time, you have a guy who, even though they don't really have obviously not a great creativity, because also at the same time you have Xavi Simons, you have Kudus. I don't think really like a lot of creativity in the final third when it comes to wingers. Having Gallagher, who's more of a shadow striker role or the box crasher role, so to come into the box and make numbers in the area, I think it would be great for Spurs. So if they truly wanted for him to play as number 10, I think it would be great for Spurs and Gallagher. But in my opinion, I don't think that will happen because of the timing of the transfer, of that being so urgent to bring in a replacement because Santa Cruz injured. I don't see a world where Gallagher was brought in for him to play number 10, unfortunately. I don't think Conor Gallagher is a bad player at all. I just think that at this time, Spurs don't need Conor Gallagher. And spending £40 million on a player who your need for him is probably very weight on the list right now. Because look at the squad, they need a new keeper, they need a new midfielder, like I said, a ball-playing midfielder, like Alex Garcia or whatever. They need a new left winger, they need a new right winger. They have so many areas of the squad need to address. And instead, they do nothing of that. And the squad building is become very, very bad. If you look at area now, this winter they saw Brennan Johnson Crystal Palace, right? Right now, they have 0 right wingers. Kudus is injured. They sold Brennan Johnson. Who now they have a right winger? No one. They don't have anyone in that position to be able to play that at a high level. And again, this has been a very usual thing to happen. The squad building is very bad. When they have no money, or when they want to spend no money with Harry Kane and Daniel Levy, they had a very good team. They were able to build a team around Harry Kane. But now, when they have the money and want to spend it, they're able to make 0 cents out of it. I mean, £40 million, I think, is a bit of an overpay on Conor Gallagher. I don't think he played well enough at Madrid for it to be worth that type of money. But at the same time, I mean, obviously that English player quote and everything also overpay the player. Again, why are you spending £40 million on a player who you're going to play Betancourt when you have 4 players on your team who's able to do that? Because like Archie Ray, Bergval, Palhinha, Sarr, all players who are very similar to Betancourt. All players will come on the pitch and do the same work as they've done. Why not bring in a more ball adept midfielder in the number 8 position? Why don't you bring in a number 10 to improve your team? Because Mason Kulusevski has been out for so long and then we have a timetable for either of them to come back to your team. So, I'm not making a sense of this signing. I think this is, again, if this guy is not being brought in to be playing number 10, which again, I don't think it is, this is a signing that makes 0 sense for Spurs. In conclusion, I don't think Gallagher won't be a flop. I think it'll be a good pay for Spurs because at the end of the day, it's still a very big upgrade on Betancourt, on Palhinha, on Sarr. It's still a very big upgrade on either of those players. So in terms of play performance, I don't really see a world. I think I'll say a world, but I don't see Conor Gallagher failing that much at Spurs. I think he should be a pretty good enough player, very decent player. Maybe not worth the price I was brought on, but still a very good player for your team. Especially if they're still able to bring in a new ball-playing midfielder in the number 8 role in this month. But in terms of Spurs, I don't see Alfie signing going to elevate them a lot as a team. I don't see that. I don't see like all these signings going to be able to be that turning point for Spurs to go from 13th to 6th or 5th or 7th where we accomplish this year. I don't see this signing being that 13 point for Spurs in this year. So for me, I'm very confused at why this is happening. In Spurs side, obviously I know why it's happening for Conor Gallagher, being able to come back to London where he's been the entire life, being able to play for a big team like Spurs, obviously not as big as Chelsea. Also the money aspect has to be pretty good in this deal. I do see why Gallagher wants to come to Spurs. I don't see why Spurs want to go after Gallagher. And again, as I said, my opinion is it won't flop. But Spurs will be the flop from this transfer.